Hello, EntrePods, and welcome to Season 3. This season, we are interviewing and talking about ethical entrepreneurs who are making money and changing our world. Join us as we discover how we can step into power as creators and business owners to reshape business into one that values humanity, our planet, and our shared future. You won't want to miss a single episode.
Hello, EntrePods. Today's show comes to you live from Podapalooza, where I get to get the most interesting people, including New York City filmmakers, documentary makers, video editors, you name it. That's actually who I have on the show today. She spent over 30 years making contracts and helping observe the world to help users riff in their business. Hundreds of startups find exactly what they need to succeed faster. And I am very excited to have the CEO and founder of Business Riff, R-I-F-F, she teaches people how to riff, businessriff.com on the show. Welcome, Mary Scott. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. It's great to be here. I'm so excited to talk with you.
I know. So you have a very interesting background. So you started out in New York City, and you're very artistic, and I can see you've got the flair. How did someone who is just so creative end up in business? Because I love that. So tell me a little bit about that.
I'm actually one of those reluctant entrepreneurs. There are three kinds. The ones who are so motivated they're going to go and do stuff. And then there's like me, who was looking for another job and couldn't find one, so started my own business.
Well, that's smart.
I've been telling stories since I was a kid. And when I hear other people's stories, I have an ability to tell them a little better. So doing it in sound and pictures just was a logical step.
You know, storytelling is like the buzzword right now. I hear it. I go to so many different conferences and I meet people, and everybody talks about how brands need to be more of storytellers. You need to, Apple, did that. They did that Simon Sinek, the who, what, why, and he turned it on his head and then he showed the world how Apple did it to really create a brand. It wasn't that it was greater or better than anything else. It's just that it resonated with people because they created this story around it that just sucked people in. So now more and more people are becoming aware of that. And tell me a little bit about how you do this with startups, because startups have a lot of passion already, but you're right, sometimes they can't formulate that into compelling calls of action to get people to work with them.
Sometimes it's really about what's the problem you solve. That's like the arc of your story. Is you got started and things didn't work out so well until the light bulb goes off. That's the arc of the story, and that's where you make the big discovery or the good connection, or you find the partner you need to actually take yourself to the next level. So yeah. It's about story, and it's not long story necessarily, but it's kind of what's the moral, what gave you the reason for being, the why, if you will. Thank you, Simon.
Yeah. And Mary's also compiled the Startup Resources Guide. And I know, are you still a team leader at 1 Million Cups? Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. I am, yeah. So what was interesting is that I've been doing videography, and I moved to St. Louis from New York about 7 years ago and landed in the middle of one of the most fantastic startup ecosystems you can imagine. There were resources all over the place.
Huh.
But they weren't talking to each other. And I thought, gang, we might not be on the same page, but we're in the same book. So I put together the list, single page list of the resource, the clickable links, what exactly they did for startups, and put them all together at stlstartupecosystem.org. So it's one-stop shopping. So it's good for startups, obviously, but it's also good for the resources to know who each other is. Because when someone comes to you and if they're not ready for you yet, you don't just say, sorry. You say, you know what? You need to go talk to these guys.
Yeah. Oh, and you not only do you need to go talk to these guys, but also too, you put them on your list for later. You know, we know as business owners, we have our business plan. If we're doing it right, we have our foundation, and then we're like, you know, I'm not there yet, but in 2 years, you're exactly where we want to be. In fact, we've even written it down. This is part of what we're going to do, and I'll keep you in mind. Being able to build that, well, we used to call it a Rolodex back in the day, but build your contact list.
CRM.
Yeah. Now it's in your CRM. You know, being able to build that up with these resources is very important. You've got to make conversations matter. And I talk about that a lot. Every time you speak to someone, they could have an affinity with you, or you could date them. You could just have them as a friend. You could decide never to speak to them again. They could refer business to them. You could refer business to them and they could give you a referral fee. They could be a client. You could be one of their clients. There are like so many juicy, wonderful ways to work with people. And so being able to be open like that and have those conversations is great. I love the fact that you do it in a documentary sort of like storytelling style and give people the tools they need to be able to express themselves, because some people will just clam up and stammer. Do you ever do workshops with people, or is it all through your written promos?
I do workshops, yes. I do workshops on how to start a business legally. Workshops on 10 mistakes startups make. Don't do this. Make your own mistakes, but don't make the same mistakes other people make. And I also do how to use video and tips and tricks with video. And one of the nice things that happens is when you get used to doing Zoom, and people are always concerned about reflections off glasses. Well, if you put your glasses on slightly tilted forward, you don't get the reflections.
Oh, that's a really good tip too, because I will go, well, I have my cheaters. And so I guess they're at a thing. I don't know. They're pretty reflective. I don't know. They're the blue blocker cheaters, but I'll use those sometimes. So that's a very good tip for people who have to use glasses. Well, guys, we had some technical things because there's so many people here ahead of time. So this isn't going to be as long as it should be with Mary. So I want Mary is going to break it down a little bit. Now, remember, we're talking to Mary Scott with businessriff.com. That's RIFF. And she can help startups in their business, help you bring storytelling alive, and she does workshops and all this cool stuff. But is there anything that you want to leave us besides the tips that you already did?
Just leave you with the first thing that startups need to do is validate the idea. Go ask people you think are potential clients if they actually need what you think is a good idea. Talk to people you don't know and see what they think. 1 Million Cups is a great place to do a presentation and practice. It's a warm, fuzzy Shark Tank. And what I do is get startups venture capital ready.
See, that's wonderful. And Mary and I probably have some things to talk about, because I get people ready to get investors and to get them ready for exit. And one of the things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to talk to investors, and they want to have fun and they want to make money. And so if that is not conveyed in that pitch, then it needs to be conveyed. So this is very important. It's going to be a new way to do business, and the old way we're throwing out with the baby with the bathwater, everything. So we're redoing everything right now. So it's just great. And I love the fact that you have a very innovative way to do this. And so 1 Million Cups, can that be accessed online, or do you have to be there in St. Louis to go there?
No, 1 Million Cups is national.
Okay.
And I'm Mary Scott. I have the information. If you go to maryscott.info, there's a whole calendar of virtual networking events there, and it includes 1 Million Cups.
Okay, guys, so this is this resource. If y'all are out there, any of our EntrePods, and you're looking to get into the game, or just to up your game, or whatever, we'll have all the links like we always do. Well, Mary, I want to thank you for being here today at Podpalooza and rolling with the punches. We all are today. And for guys, go to EntrePods.com, like, comment, share. You can leave a review right on EntrePods.com, and we are linked to every listening platform. We will have the links to Mary Scott at businessriff.com and the other links that she said right underneath this. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great week. Remember, entrepreneurs, it's all about being ethical entrepreneur, and we're going to make money and change the world. Thanks, guys, and thank you, Mary.